you doing today? Good? Yeah, I hear some excitement. That's really hard to follow up after Clara. She's so eloquent and engaging. So I'm going to see how we do. So today I'm actually going to start off with a little bit of an interactive activity. The title of my presentation is called Why Women Need Men, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. So for starting off, I need everyone in this room to stand up. Every single person. Yeah. Is everyone standing up? Okay, are you ready to participate in this activity? Yay, okay. So the way this activity works is there's going to be a series of prompts, and the prompt will appear on the screen. If the prompt applies to you, you're going to stay standing. You're going to remain standing. If it doesn't apply to you, you're going to sit down. And then I'm going to tell you when the next prompt will come up and the people who are sitting down can stand up again. Okay, so the first prompt is, I can be confident that a decision to hire me or promote me won't be based on whether my employer assumes I will be having children in the near future. If this applies to you, remain standing. If it doesn't apply to you, please sit down. So if it applies to you, you stay standing. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so you can stand up again. We'll go on to the next prompt. Getting your workout for today? 5 prompts. I can be confident that day-to-day language always includes my gender. Example, all men are created equal, the mailman, chairman, the man in the street, fireman, etc. If you are confident that day-to-day language always includes your gender, remain standing. Okay, so we'll go on to the next prompt. The next prompt is, I will never be expected to change my name upon marriage or questioned if I don't change my name. If it applies to you, you remain standing. So if you're never expected to change your name upon marriage or questioned if you don't change your name, you stay standing. Okay. Prompt 4. My odds of encountering sexual harassment on the job are so low as to be negligible. If your odds of experiencing sexual harassment on the job are so low as to be negligible, you will remain standing. And the last prompt, I can be somewhat sure that if I ask to see the person in charge, I will face a person of my own sex. The higher up in the organization the person is, the surer I can be. That means if I ask to see the manager, and then see the president, and then see the CEO and whoever, I can be sure that the higher and higher in the organization I go, the more sure I am that that person will be the same gender or the same sex as me. Those are 2 different things, but for the prompt. Okay. So you can all sit down now. That was the end of our little exercise. So something you all might have noticed is that a lot of these prompts applied to the men in the room. A lot of the men had the privilege of not having to experience certain things that a lot of the women or people who don't identify as men didn't experience. And a quote that Periyar said is, "Men's endeavor for the emancipation of women only perpetuates women's slavery and hampers their emancipation. Have you ever seen anywhere a jackal freeing the hen, or a cat freeing the rats, or a capitalist freeing the workers?" And what Periyar is talking about here is essentially the agency that women have and the importance of advocating for yourself, because no one will ever know the issue as well as you do when you experience that issue. And even if men have more power, you can't expect men to lead the movement on women or to lead feminism, because men will never fully understand in that capacity what it means. And what he's calling us to do here is, as women, to spearhead our own movement, to lead that own movement. It's actually very similar to a quote by a famous feminist called Alice Walker, who wrote The Color Purple. She said, "The most common way people give up their power is to believe they don't have any." And that's what self-respect is. Self-respect is power. Power is a noun in the English language, which means the ability to act or produce an effect. When you have self-respect and you believe that you're worth something and you believe that you're an individual, you are giving yourself the power. You are giving yourself power. You are giving yourself the ability to make a change. And while I agree with Periyar's sentiment that women need to spearhead what it means to be a feminist or feminism, I actually think he got some things wrong. So I think he was partially correct, but I think we were missing the whole picture. So what I think he got wrong was that men aren't included in this vision of feminism. And as feminism has progressed, we've gone from feminism being to about white, in this country, being about white women, then to including class and race and gender, and now we're sort of at a point where we are moving even past that and considering other factors. And I think where we're moving is realizing that feminism doesn't just benefit women, it also benefits men, it benefits everybody. And that's a little bit of what I'm going to be talking about today. Yes, women should be spearheading the movement, but yes, men also need to be allies. And how can they be allies? How can we go about this? So I'm going to be actually talking about a study that was conducted. It was conducted by an organization called Promundo. And this organization promotes healthy masculinity, and they ran a study in 22 countries where they employed workshops to promote healthy masculinity. They met once a week and had group-based discussions and activities, and this experiment happened over 10 to 16 weeks. And again, like I said, they employed in 22 countries, so that's a lot of countries. They employed it in India, and they employed it in 3 different places in India. They did it in Mumbai, they did it in Vijayawada, and they did it in, I believe, New Delhi. So they did it in 3 different places. And they employed something they called the GEM scale. That's the Gender Equality for Men scale. And they asked men a series of questions about whether they agreed with these statements before the program and then after the program. And what they found is that of these countries, at least in this case, it was 6 different countries, that India and Rwanda actually had the highest instances of inequality before the program was employed. So they most readily accepted men's violence against women, they most readily accepted abuse, they didn't see anything wrong with it. If you want to see, the low equality is the light blue. So India has 24, Rwanda has 17. Versus other countries where they were running the workshops. This is a little hard to see, so I'm just going to explain what this is. This is from the Mumbai study that they did. It was, I think, about 10 years ago now, but it's still relevant. They reconducted it in Delhi and Vijayawada. But this is, the left column is what happened, what their responses were before, whether they agreed with the statement, and the right was post the workshops. So the left was things like violence. It's okay for a man to hit his wife if she won't have sex with him. 28 people said yes. After the workshop, only 3 people said yes. domestic life. Changing diapers, giving kids a bath, and feeding kids are the mother's responsibility. Before, 63 men said yes. After, 35 men said yes. For example, then after, it goes on, but it asks a lot of questions dealing with different things and aspects about life, as you can see: violence, domestic life, reproductive and sexual health, and even men who aren't straight. Like, I would never have a gay friend as one of them. 55 men said I would never have a gay friend before the workshop. Then 28 men said that they wouldn't, so it reduced. So just seeing how when men talk to other men and create this environment of peer equality, and yes, women should be respected, yes, gender equality is important, it seems to reach men on a different level because it's men talking to other men. Which brings us to my final point is 2018 Harvard Business Review came out with an article called How Men Can Be Allies. And I want to talk about 3 important points from there. If you really want to be an ally, which is how I believe that, honestly, gender equality is going to be achieved, there are 3 things men can do right now. The first thing is listen. Because, like Periyar said, you don't know the problem the same way other people do. Only women have agency in a way that men don't over their own issue. So first, listen to what the problem actually is. And the second thing is be uncomfortable. Get used to being uncomfortable. Yes, it's not going to be comfortable to change things at first, but then get used to that discomfort, because it's not always easy to change out of the norm. And those are the 2 most important things that I would take away. And the last thing is a call to action. Recently, I'm going to wrap up real quick, but it's wedding season, and I feel like every time I turn around, there's a new save the date on the fridge at my house, and I think I've gone to like 5 or 6 weddings, I feel like, in the past 2 years. But there was a wedding that I went to, over the past year, where every single person who was called up to give a speech at the wedding was a man, including, not even the bride's mother or the bride's father, the groom's mother was called to give a speech. And that was very concerning, because it's like, even at the most important time one of the most important occasions in your child's life, you don't even get a chance to speak. You're not even giving someone a chance to express their opinion. And it's unlikely that to both these people, they have no important women in their lives. And that's in our own community. So if you see things in your own community where you can change things, or just you see a little thing where something can be changed, be mindful of that and change that and take action. And that's what I want to leave you with today. What will you do to make a difference?